or made up thing is around a campfire. Let us be loud and proud together. And I have to tell you that many a campfire with my family, when they would start singing, I would sing right along with them. Not that I sing well, but it was still a wonderful opportunity for me to share my joy with others. So tonight, if we could all be outstanding, and if we could raise our significance to those precious times. Precious time. Precious. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guy, for that wonderful post. I will now call upon Pauline again to focus. Yes. And I'll welcome you to our team. Perfect. Night. Thank you. And I do know that we have a couple of people join us during the post. So welcome to our additional guests. Welcome to Corroboree, which is based on which you may not have seen the fire burning. So thank you, Ben. We have one made on sign that we've got no one that I speak in a second. Can I just add, before you start, focus on the positive is an elective in level 3. And if anyone would like you to evaluate their presentation that they had to a collection level 3, then please let me know either in the chat or in the written or on Zoom, and I'm happy to evaluate the so I have one question. The only other 5 minutes up to 3 to 5 minutes, but the inclusivity of the presentation normally lined up. It's not that they were positive, because I'll fast and fast if they make sense. Well, hopefully there won't be any because it is focused on the positive. And I have tried to focus on our native piece, which is thick fire burning brown and black. Sorry, no one's on but I'm really keen for people to share, but mindful that not everybody is comfortable. We've got a couple of guests online. We don't want to put you on the spot, but at the same time, we would love to be on so focus on the positive is exactly what Guy just said. It's an opportunity to master your well-being, because when we focus on the positive, it does have an effect on your well-being. If you get up feeling miserable every day, then that's how you're going to spend your day, that's how you're going to end up feeling through the day. However, if you get up thinking positive thoughts, hopefully it affects your tone for the day. Yes, it might not go the way they or you had planned. Today I had planned to get my car back from the mechanic, and I now know if I come back tomorrow, and it will cost me thousands of dollars. The positive is I will have my car back. So find the positive, even in the negative. So I have a couple of questions that you might like to do to your focus on the positive. However, it's going to be so questions might be, what do you gain from being a member of our Toastmasters? Positive gain. Or what do you hope to gain from being a visitor tonight to our philosophy? How does being part of this group firm your commitment to reconciliation? What this year's theme, Thick Fire Burning, means to you? And now I'm going to use that one for that as well. Do I have any volunteers to start us off with focus on positive? I'm happy to go first. Thank you, Tucky. You're welcome. And I will sort of, it looks better if I'm speaking. as well. So I will remain speakers to them. What I would say is what I get from our Druitt Koori is the sense of family. Like I love. And that's the reason why and I have been a member for 5 years. And almost 6. So I'm really happy with that. And knowing that I've got my partner to join, my son to join, and for them, it makes them better people. And I love to see their growth way they've grown as people and speaking in public as well. And so proud of them both. So it gives you that sense of community, family, but it also gives you more confidence in regards to speaking out. And I have to say, my real positive was I had the opportunity to actually speak on 9 years. I know. But as some of you know, I live in the ACT and I decided to, at the real reconciliation space fair day and in Canberra, there was a sign in nomination for the active body elect, and I'm going, I want to do that. And I was like, no, thought about it. So I went around and got elders to sign off and handed the form back. And I was like, yep. And I was like, so I got Uncle Johnny Couple, then Joseph, sister, another auntie, and another one. And I was like, you only need 4 representatives. I had 6. So I was like, yes. And then I got the confirmation, yes. And then I went to the draw. And I was the only candidate that actually turned up. So I was like, because there were 9 years. Interviewing me, only candidates that turned up. And then I actually shared why I wanted to do it. And I said, I didn't know it existed, for one. I'm very focused on the community. I also mentioned all the social stuff. And it was that I wanted to start a Koori club in Canberra. And also, you have to abide by both laws, LLR and IR, and I thought that was really important that, you know, that you can bring balance to both. And to me, I may not know much about that, but I'm quite happy to learn on the fly. Because that's how we learn. We learn by observation, and that's the way it is. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. What a beautiful start to our focus on business, as always. And I was pretty confident you would volunteer those. So thank you. It's nice knowing that you are always happy to chat. Does anyone else in the room want to go next before? Yeah, thank you. And it's so nice to have Jess back. We have spoken for a little while. Life has been busy for many of us, and we understand that, but we're really excited.
I hope she keeps coming back.
Thank you for the warm welcome, and I guess for me, work is absolutely this busy, and the reception that has been able to at work, we have this command need, and it's tough for us. It's really tough. I'm not like that. And I went for that's my job, not my work. And then I was also tonight, and from Australia to set up that. Wow, that's really my top up. That is just so good to see. And we are what we and for me, our people have to find so big too, but our other don't video, which is nice. So visually, what is being said, what is and the Bureau of Labour also comes up. I think it's really important that what do we do with that side of that dog? What those that we call so the positive is that connect out and they connect the safe walking and the one that really come down and the part which is going to oh, what have we got online then? Oh. Corroboree.
Let's do another one.
Right?
Oh,
And this. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I put the cord on. I can do that.
sorry to those of you online who have struggled to hear us. Hopefully you can hear my teacher voice.
We'll just find out what's online.
So, can we see your face if you don't mind? Yeah, I'm at the oh, at the writers group. I'm at the oh, and she's a very an old lady. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, so I'm at the next day. Oh, so I'm around the writers group, so that's where I'm at there. So it's not there now, but it's back. So I would like to open it to our two guests that we have online to see if there is something you would like to share about focus on the positive. No pressure.
Can you see my screen?
That would show it up.
Okay, that's what.
And that's okay. And I think we have got somebody volunteering. Chrissy, you going to volunteer? Taking us up.
What?
Would you like to share something about focus on the positive? Something positive in your life? Something positive about joining us tonight potentially?
Well, I've been to your Koori Toastmasters before, but last Tuesday just gone, sorry, I went to Aboriginal Women's Group, and we learned about this group online called Well Mob for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, but mainly Indigenous people, and they had different little circles. One's about mental health and one's about languages and um how to deal with things, and they had counseling and all different types of things, and I learned a new word which I never in my life would have dreamt of thinking about this word, but I never knew what it meant, and I asked the Aboriginal elder what did it meant at my Aboriginal women's group. I learned the word burrade, and I didn't know what that meant. And then when they told me what it meant, I said out in laughter, because it actually meant the word you shitted in the toilet. And I didn't know that. But because they were talking about this different language, Aboriginal language, I did not know what that word meant until they told me what it was about. But we learn about different strengths and how to stay positive in our lives and how you can go through difficult things and get help by other people surrounded by you, including your family as well as other things. But I am very grateful to come to this group and enjoy the Corroboree, and I'm thankful for my nephew Kenga for inviting me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And we're very,
That's okay.
Chrissy, I'll have to sign you up as a member.
Pardon?
I'm not sure how.
Pardon?
Mine is.
That's all right.
Tucky's gonna sign you up as a member with any luck.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we have Dee online, and then we've got a couple of extra people in the room. Opening it up, would anyone like to share something around focus on the positive? Oh, beautiful, Maggie, well done. Thank you.
So I'm a guest. I'm not Aboriginal. I hate talking in public, hate it. But I would like to say I'm very, very happy. So welcoming, such a beautiful community, I can tell immediately. And just the opportunity to connect and to hear stories and to, you know, just be here and participate. You know, I love it. And that's what I'm saying.
Thank you. And that is a very welcoming. And we are very welcoming, although we are Mount Druitt Koori Toastmasters, we know that we are very inclusive and very welcoming. We have non-Aboriginal members, and we certainly welcome non-Aboriginal guests and additional non-Aboriginal members, because we can't do things like reconciliation on our own, and we shouldn't be doing reconciliation. It's not up to us, but it's not even just about reconciliation. It's just about everybody coming together, working together, and making sure that we live in a beautiful country where everybody is accepted, everybody is understood, and everybody is celebrated. So you are more than welcome to come at any point, Maggie, so thank you. Di, you look like you're potentially...
Oh, Dee just had her camera.
Dee, perfect. Sorry, I know I'm yelling.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, happy NAIDOCs. I'm just really excited to join. I wish I was there in person, but I just had a late meeting finishing here. But yeah, I would really love to connect with other Koori groups, you know, because we've got Auntie Lola Simmons from a Bankstown elder she's been part of our management committee for a really long time. Yes.
Perfect. Well, we're very excited to have you join. If you ever get the opportunity to come and actually be here in person, we would love that.
You should say only Amy's told them about it.
I don't know. Who told you about Mount Druitt Koori, Dee?
Oh, it was being circulated, your flyer, to so many services.
Wow. Well, there's positive. Yeah. We're very excited about that. Di, you were shifting in your seat, so I'm wondering if that means that you would love to. Sorry.
I'm just going to move over here so people can see.
Sorry, we're laughing. My letters are falling off the wall. You want me to speaker?
Yeah. I've just got this wonderful, big, powerful voice that I like to use often. I've been so excited. I believe that the method to the madness of people and the words that they bring together to drive the things that NAIDOC and reconciliation sharing. I love getting caught up in that language of words. And so moving forward, when I first seen around the campfire, it really reconciled with me how we can share some incredible messages in a simple structure. And I can see why we reflected that circle of support that we wanted to have exist here tonight. So my focus on the positive is when we all sit together in a circle, it's a powerful thing. And my grandmother said, when we sit together in a circle, no one is the lead, we're all gathered together. And it's a wonderful opportunity to do some positive sharing and caring. And it's something that my cultural values is instilled within me, and I've instilled in my children. And I still remember it was that scenario that I used with my daughter who lives with autism. So when she first done her transition out of living within my family home to be an independent person, I gathered a circle of people. You know, one of her friends that she went to school with, a friend that she had outside of school, a cousin, her sister, and myself. And we used to come together to make sure that her start in life was going to be secured, positive, and so we were all going to support her to move out independently. My daughter is doing an incredible job living independently. I tell everyone she's a better cook than me, so she knows how to use fire really well. I don't do as well when it comes to using fire and cook. And it's that, but it comes from that philosophy. When we do it all together, don't try and do things on your own. Every time an activity comes to you, always use that circle of support and the circle of people that are here to support each of us to grow. And if we don't, we're really silly, and we might as well just live in the ashes, because it's that circle that helped my daughter be the great woman that she is, and helped me grow as an individual. And it was one of the things that I seen that was a super value when I first went to Druitt Koori Toastmasters 14 years ago. So 14 years ago, I went into a meeting because Linda and Annie Avis and Bob assured me that I needed it. I went along and had the best time. And I took people with me on that journey over the years, and I've seen all these people grow, and all starts from that circle of support. So the theme this year, I think it's going to be something really magic that's going to happen this year, because a numbers person, and 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8, and it's a very positive number. So whatever we dish out is going to come back to us, and it's in a circle of support. So moving forward, never try and do it on your own, because there's people there to support you, and we do it in a circle. It's just going to keep on going around, and it's going to grow momentum. But thank you, Colleen, for using such a wonderful thing to make sure that we are having ourselves on the map. We are growing, and we're filling our cup. I love how Jess used that analogy of filling the cup. And we need to share that with other people in the community. And they're missing out. They're not sitting here in a circle with us. But thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I couldn't hear you.
And it is important, and as Jess said, we hit peaks where the load is on us, and so I know the load is on us, and so us coming together here is the way of making sure that actually we're not holding that burden, because we're all here sharing. And so Jess is right, that allows us to fill our cup rather than feeling like we are the lead of something. Some of us hold positions where it does drain us, and we do need to take a step back. But it's Mount Druitt Koori and opportunities like that where we don't have to be the lead because we're here together. We've got 2 who haven't spoken, no pressure, but Kanga or Ben, I know we're over time, but I can play with the timing tonight, so that's okay. Ben, yeah. Ben, we'd love to hear from you. And yell so Christine can hear.
I get more fun.
Or you can just pick up the microphone and talk into the
I've done
microphone.
that too, don't worry.
Yeah, that might be. I can see Christine's really struggling.
No, she'll live. I'm allowed to say that. No, so my positive is actually tomorrow because I get to go from being 39 to 40. So, you know, but nothing special, but anyway, apart from that, I've also been back and forwards to Wagga in the last couple of days because someone said to me, "Your car's still sitting here. What are you going to do with it?" I was going, "Yeah, I'm going to fix that." That's like that's a positive. I want to make sure it gets fixed so I can have my bloody car back. I miss my car. Oh, I miss my car. I mean, I've been missing it for the last, what, 7 months? Yeah, longer than that. How's that? So it's 12:30. It's due to come home. But it's also, I've actually got to, for my day tomorrow, I'm actually doing something Saturday for myself. So I'm organising a game night for family and a couple of friends at where we are. And it'll be an online game version of my version of Tabletop online. Kanga's seen a brief preview of it, Tucky's seen it. I've basically taken the idea of tabletops and turned it into like a game. Basically, some of the ones I've used here with the animals and the Tour of Australia and one I've made up the last couple of days, it's been sitting in the computer. I thought, I'm going to turn that one into one. And it's all about my favourite subject, movies. There's all quotes from movies and stuff. So yeah, I took it and went, well, let's go. Yeah, that one. Put them into a game and go, right. So the game works as, right, you answer that. Everyone else scores you out of 10 of how creative you can get. Person at the end, most points at the end of the game, you're the winner, mate. So it's sort of like, it is in a way a lot like a contest in a way. It's just a more shortened version and a more long version of tabletop in one big game. So yeah. But that's my positive that's happening next couple of days. So
Well done. Look forward to hearing
thank you, come on. Family, friends. What you want to do? You want to have fun, do you?
So, you know, that's what we're aiming to do.
I'm just going to hijack Koori's Zoom key to do it.
Last but not least.
Oh, yeah, because you can see you on the screen, but you couldn't see me. That's
Positive.
Come on, Kanga.
No. Yes. So I've had 3 positives recently. So recently, in the last month and a half, I've started to learn the Darug language. Through the Darug Dalung course, which I've.
You don't know, Di.
Yes, that's a word I don't know.
So it's been learning the words and try to apply it through Marana. So I've been trying to conversate to try and keep it up and maintain it. So that's been exciting. Let's not go there. I'm only a beginner. My second positive is that I've got 2 job opportunities, weighing them up. So I have been offered as a permanent part-time wardie, but at the same time, if everything goes good, I could be in the ATO this year, coming up for the tax year. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. And then my last one is something that'll be in the works eventually, and you will find out what that is later on in the Toastmasters year. But that's about it.
All right. Very exciting. So well done, Kanga. Let me just put that. Because, yes, I couldn't clap Kanga until I that jumped up. It was great to hear people have positives about Toastmasters, people have positives just about general things in life. It's just about focusing on that positive, keeping you going, because we all have times when we are down. I got news this week that somebody had passed away. That sort of news is hard to take. And so it's really important to find something positive. For me, it was thinking about the role that person played in my life. So no matter how down you're feeling, try and get yourself out And if you're ever really stuck, my husband tells me apparently you cannot get out of a cold shower feeling miserable. Try it. I'm not yet, but apparently 3 minutes in a cold shower, you always come out feeling great. So thank you for joining in Focus on the Positive. And the next part for our people online, I'd love for you to participate in this. I'm going to grab that microphone because I can see Christine's struggling to hear my big teacher voice. Okay, so for the people
Now I can hear your
online,
voice. Now you're speaking louder, not like a mouse. I can hear you.
you can hear me? Great. So for
Yeah,
the
I can
people,
hear you now.
awesome. If you would like to participate in this next activity, you will need a piece of paper and something to write with. It doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter what your piece of paper is. We are all going to, ahead of taking a break, we are going to have a think about our commitment to reconciliation, to this year's theme of keep the fire burning. For me, that's my everyday, keeping the fire burning. I keep the Darug fire burning in my role whilst I work with Aboriginal students. And so we talk about everybody's culture. For me, obviously, keeping the Darug fire burning is what's key, because if we don't keep our culture going, if we don't continue our histories and our stories and our customs, then we lose our culture completely. And so keep the fire burning, being proud, being loud. Well, that's me when it comes to speaking up. And certainly, representing who you are and who your mob are is really important. So we're going to go into a break for 10 or 15 minutes. I wish you guys were here because I've got a beautiful display that you would be able to look at. The guys that are here in the room are going to take a leaf or two potentially now because there are so many leaves compared to people. And we're going to write a word, a short phrase, or some sort of commitment to this year's theme of NAIDOC, which is keep the fire burning, or just reconciliation in general, or it could be your personal commitment to just increasing your knowledge about Australia's Aboriginal history, because we know not everybody has a true understanding. We hear about truth telling all the time. We really need to get past truth telling, because the telling is the onus on Black people, Aboriginal people. We've been telling the truth forever. So it's actually about truth listening. It's about the people we're speaking to being open to hearing our true stories, as much as they might hurt, as much as they might shock, as much as we might not want to actually say, oh my goodness, is that really what happened? But the only way we're going to make real progress is truth listening rather than truth telling. So we're going to see you in about 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to go and write on some leaves, but if you guys would like to also write on a leaf your word or your phrase, which is your commitment, because when we... Oh, yes, you can put it in the chat and we can write it on a leaf for you, but we are going to come back and share after the break. So we're keen to hear people, because it's not about me talking all night. So we do want to hear from everyone. There'll be an opportunity for you to share what you've written on your leaf. So Christine and Dee, we'll see you back in probably, we'll say 10 minutes. You'll hear the clapsticks call you back, and we're going to go and move over to the table where the leaves are. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, beautiful people in the room. Here is your opportunity to grab a leaf. I've got some pens and some texters. There's also an opportunity to have a look at the different books and different pieces that I've brought in and just enjoy. On the leaf, we've also got a couple of Aboriginal flags that you have. So the leaf will be your commitment you can take with you, but you can either write your name or write a message on the flags. We've got a variety we've got pens, pencils, we've got texters, we might have a little bit. So feel free to grab a leaf or two, because that's a bit we have a lot. The flags, if you love them for us to keep, just a message or your, just a signature if you want. The leaf, as I said, is your commitment, what's resonating with you, and we'll take your leaf home, but we'll ask you to share up to the So feel free to have a wander and look at my beautiful bits and pieces, my gorgeous scarves that I'm using to decorate. And then, of course, grab some food, a cuppa, and we'll get up on the
And
side.
Chris and Dee, if you write yours in the chat, we can actually write yours. We'll write a leaf for you.
Okay.
Do you grab a few words this time?
Yeah, and it's always good to explain to people. Explain it. Yeah, there are very different. Ah. Yeah. You can either just sign your name or share your commitment with flags and say that's what the leagues you can take. I want to do real leagues, but you have to get on. Colouring the table. Yeah, that's beautiful. The leaf is yours, but we love your comments or your signature or your thoughts on that flag as well, because the flag is just to remind you. I really wanted my campfire to feel that stuff. Life just going away. And well, I was going to find the lantern. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. really want to go to leave, but I'm really. You know, really following in my number, the congregation day. Oh, yeah. The celebrate number smoking ceremony. Yeah. 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 Oh, my gosh. If we have a smoking ceremony, I'll be here for each. So you know, you might remember that. Yeah. I was going to put on top. Yeah, so she made really weak. And he said, to grab a week. Yeah, I mean, the kids are really popular. Yeah. Yeah. I bought something that we, well, but I bought them to. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. She did also been unbalanced, but I wanted to leave them. Then I buy the baby. Yeah. Yeah. This actually is the run around. And of course, I already have a ground. Yeah, going from you might be able to do my slides. And her group, I have made up to the roof, so they, if people will get a book, then they will.
Okay, Dee, if you can hear me, can you just turn your camera on and I'll explain it?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So basically it's about what kind of commitment that are you going to give me 1 second. Colleen.
Yes.
For Dee and Chrissy, just again, Dee just wants it to be re-explained of what to do with the leaf. I'll get you to do it.
So we are interested in hearing your thoughts around, I don't need to be on the screen. I'm happy not to be on the screen. We would like one word maybe that connects you to this year's NAIDOC theme or connects you to the concept of reconciliation. It could be a phrase, it can be a sentence, but just something fairly short. For example, I've just written on my leaf, be proud, share my knowledge. So it can be something really simple. I think we've had, what have you got, Tucky? Can I help? Steal yours? So helping community. So it doesn't have to be specifically NAIDOC based,
but you could make it about NAIDOC. But we just want, yeah, one or a couple of words or a phrase, and we'll write it on our flag for you, and we'll write it on a leaf. So we've got yours, and if you ever come in, we can give it to you in person. So if you want to pop, if you want to pop something in the chat, we'll write it down for you.
Sure. I've only got 2 words. I think I'm going to contribute new rap. So we're developing a new reconciliation action plan, and that's gone up to Reconciliation Australia. They're helping us really, really tremendously. So new rap.
So new rap, did you say?
Yes, please.
The chat, that'd be great.
Do you have access to the new rap? Perfect. We'll go and write that on our flag. And then Christine, if you've got something you'd like us to, oh, she's done it? Oh, perfect. Thank you. And then we'll share in a moment. These guys are just filling their bellies, but we'll come back to you in just a second. All right, so we've got new. You did that one? Perfect. I'll write it on the flag. Awesome. Oh, perfect. Don't forget to bring your leaf back with you. That's your leaf, Chrissy. That's what you wrote. Who wrote in the green pen? Oh, I'll bring yours over, John. Perfect. That's yours, Steve. That's yours. We were lucky enough to have you written more than yours, Chrissy. And there's a million people being the Bruce Johnson case because we weren't really sure. So I know. Down the fact that I haven't had lunch or dinner and stuff. What? The leader and no, not wait, we have to do well. A long time member. I didn't know why the police is to get roll call. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Give you the 1 minute warning. That way, if you need to grab a cuppa, your cold drink, more food, whatever it might be. I'll pretend I'm Linda, call to order, 1 minute warning. Knowing that tonight's very different to the way a normal meeting would run. I know. Worked out what I need to put down and what I can. And we're coming back. Ben is on his way. And I'm mindful about Christine not being able to still hear. maybe we'll pass the microphone around a bit like a message stick.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, so we're going to make the microphone our message stick and we'll pass it around. So hopefully, Christine, you can hear us a bit better if we actually hold the microphone. Can you hear me? Perfect. Yeah. All right. So while we had a break, we had a table full of leaves, not real leaves. I didn't get a chance to go and get them. Ben's close to a camera, so he might stick a leaf in front of the camera just so you guys can see, so that you know online what we've been doing. So we had beautiful paper leaves and we've written a word, a couple of words, a phrase, a commitment, our thoughts on the leaves. And we've taken yours from online and added them as well. We also had 2 paper flags, and sorry, you probably can't see that they're coloured online. And we've done the same thing there, popped a thought, a commitment onto the flags, and we're going to have the opportunity to pass our message stick microphone and share our commitments, share our thoughts. So I'll start since I've got the big booming microphone. So my first leaf says, be proud and share knowledge. So in my role as a mother, as a Darug community member, as the leader of the Aboriginal Student Centre at Macquarie Uni, and in my role as an educator with the Department of Education, it's always been about sharing knowledge. So I can't keep the fire burning if I don't share knowledge. There's no point keeping it to myself because I don't get to educate, and I certainly don't continue the Darug culture that way. On my second leaf, I wrote truth listening, and I explained to you before the break why truth listening is so important. My commitment is to get people to understand what truth listening is about and fill my cup. And that's because it does get hard. And there are times where I say to my community, I need to tap out because the cultural load is too heavy. But these are the opportunities, as Jess said, to fill your cup, refuel so that we can go again. So that's mine. I'll just share what's on the flag at the moment. So we've got helping community, walk together, share and love. I have to turn this one up the right way to be able to read. Fire adds to growth around the fire. Fire, and we grow together. Perfect. Thank you for, you'd think as a teacher I could decipher. Sharing knowledge and ceremony with others. Beautiful. NAIDOC Week 2024. Keep using your voice. New rap. So Dee was sharing that she's part of the new rap that's been written. And respect, passion, wisdom, knowledge. Love them. All right. Left or right, ladies? Oh, there we go.
So on my 2 leaves, I've got a couple of statements. So the first one I wrote is continue to use my voice not only during NAIDOC, but all year round, which I think is really important in work purposes and also in community, in your friends, family, network. My other statement that I wrote is continue to be a role model and an emerging leader for my mob, inside work and outside of work, be proud of who I am and where I'm going. So that resonates with what I'm doing in my role today. It resonates with a program that I'm doing. It's a reverse mentoring program outside of work for senior leaders, and to be able to educate them and mentor them, but also be a strong leader for my community as well, my friends, my family, and all the people behind me, my ancestors. So those are my 2 statements on my leaves.
I just got shocked by Jess. Awesome. It's passing the baton, right? To me, I thought about, helping community. I see the community members in the street all the time, and a community member finally asked a question, and they wanted help with their ID. And they asked many of their mob and family to help them, but unfortunately they suffer with alcohol addiction and stuff like that. And I said, well, one, I don't drink. And he goes, man, if I'd known that earlier. So that way I said, look, this is where I work. If this is where you can find me during the week, if you want to, contact me. And helping people was good. And I said, I'm planning to start a community group in Civic or in the ACT, because there's no non-service base. So because community is more inclined to actually go to community to help with each other. And I said, this is what I want to create. And by me helping you to help you fill in your forms, and he was illiterate, and I said, I'm quite happy to do so. But it's like people that can and can help others in the community, that's what community is about. And it's about bringing those core values back. So yeah, that's me. Then I'll run it over.
Of course you will. But you got no choice. So mine, I've got two different ones that sort of a general that I think everyone should be doing. One is expanding knowledge in all areas, whether it be part of like an Aboriginal community or not. And the other one I put was exploring different places. So always when you're going out somewhere, whether it be a drive or a walk, or even just because you feel bored and want to go somewhere you've never been. That's more like explore somewhere you've never been, learn something you haven't learned. That was where I thought, in a nutshell, I thought like explore and learn at the same time. Yeah.
Should we go to one of our online members?
So, well,
Do them too.
We'll go to them first.
so
So
Dee?
Chrissy or Dee, would you like to share the statements that you used for your messages and why you gravitated to those thoughts?
Lucy, do you want to go first?
She's delegating to Chrissy first.
Okay, so, yeah, I shared about the new reconciliation action plan. I think it's really important. It doesn't matter where, if we're not an Aboriginal community controlled organisation, to have that as a sign of our commitment to advancing the rights of First Nations peoples, and really bringing together cohesive harmony, between First Nations and non-First Nations peoples. And we recently changed our name from the Multicultural Network to Inclusive and Diverse Communities. Prior to my role as an EO here, I was managing the Disability Royal Commission, and that's one of the biggest gaps that we found was when people identify with more than one identity, they tend to get these gaps. And so it's that intersectionality that we sort of need to focus more on, and because there's so much fractions in the community sector. Thank you.
I love peace and harmony. Perfect. Love it. Christine, did you want to share the words you popped into the chat? And unmute. You just unmute her. So I can.
Chrissy, can you unmute yourself, please, darling?
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Well, every Tuesday I go with my Aboriginal worker to Aboriginal women's group, and I was a little bit nervous at first going there because I'm young and that there was no other young people there except for all Aboriginal elders. And I was a bit worried at first, but then I started to learn. They shared their wisdom and they acknowledged me, and they shared lots of passionate stories, and I learned a lot of things from them, and I'm very grateful for going to that group because they've taught me a lot, the Aboriginal elders, and I've had some struggles. I've been in hospital for 2.5 months, and they've showed me a lot of passion and wisdom and knowledge, and with the Aboriginal liaison officer as well at the hospital. And I've learnt their respect. So I'm very grateful for their respect. I respect them for their knowledge and their wisdom and sharing their stories to me. And now I'm acknowledged by their group because I'm not from Wiradjuri land, but I'm on Wiradjuri land in Bathurst, and I'm from the Yuin tribe, but my son was born on Wiradjuri. But I've learned a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and I've earned their respect, and I'm very grateful for them.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Chrissy.
Chrissy, James was born on Druitt land.
What?
James was born in Druitt.
Oh.
No worries. Just thought I'd let you know.
He goes to Tara, which is Wiradjuri, and they teach him Wiradjuri language.
Because you live in
Mm.
yeah.
Thank you, Chrissy.
That's all right.
And I will echo Chrissy's words because I too went to Kelso and met with that group of Aboriginal elders from the Bathurst region, and they were so welcoming, and I didn't take a jacket and I was cold and they gave me a jacket, and it was just really quite an emotional day that how nice they were. And then we invited all the kids in from the park and they come and sat and ate with us too because I took too much food.
They do that. The
Yeah.
kids come in every Tuesday. The kids come into the Aboriginal women's group, and we have different lunches every time. So, and then they have different activities on. I've just recently had somebody from Orange come up, and you didn't have to do your driving lesson online. These people came up and they took you out in cars and taught you through the Aboriginal group to learn how to drive and stuff, and they do a lot of different good things.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so it brought back really great memories for me and in my time with the group in Bathurst. Now,
Oh no, Di.
So on my leaf, I kind of wrote lots of different things that I sort of reflected on during everyone's talking and Colleen's presentation. And of course, first of all, I wrote something, respect for every concept of cultural values, because the cultural values that I have is going to be uniquely different to everybody else's. And I too, and especially from my elders, being a Yorta Yorta Wimba woman, you know, I've had elders clip me up the back of the head saying, "What are you doing that? That's not yours. Leave it alone." And the elders always say, no matter where you go, bub, everywhere you go and find an elder and let them know you're on country, because if they do a smoking ceremony, your spirit might connect to someone we don't need you to connect to. So I do remember all these wonderful little things. And so in my adulthood, I do respect every cultural value. And when I go holidaying anywhere, I just always make sure I let Aboriginal people know in that area that I'm going to be on country. So it's really important that we maintain some of those things. And it's one of those things that why traditionally years ago, Aboriginal people would sit outside other people's country and they would light a fire to let people know I'm here, and they would sometimes wait for days before someone would show up and say, how you going, what you doing here? And yeah, all right, you can stay or you can come on and hunt for food. So culturally, it was really important. And I think we need to make sure that we're maintaining some of those concepts. Yeah, and that's what I wrote next. That fire warms us, and which I've already shared. But more importantly, fire is a powerful tool because fire gives rebirth. And here in Australia, we're uniquely individual. Some of our trees won't, they'll die and wither away unless we bring fire to break open those seeds in order to encourage rebirth. So fire can be scary, but I'm telling you what, I learned a great lesson in Parramatta Park with some traditional Darug people on how to do fire stick burning to make sure that we open those seeds and those seeds keep on bringing about new rebirth and regrowth. And fire is a powerful tool, and we need to make sure that we use it constructively. But on the other leaf, as I've already shared, it's about how we walk together and how we walk together in partnership. And many of the lessons that I learnt from my elders leading up to this day in time has always guided me to make sure that I'm that sort of person that I always, and I say to my kids all the time, and they always say, "Oh, Mum," but I say, every corner you turn, you're going to run into someone. And that person could be a positive person in your life, or it could be someone that you really need to have a relationship with, and make sure it's a positive relationship. And even the significance of the leaf I use in my children's teaching, because my mob, when our people moved on, we would bind them into a tree so that they become one part of the ecosystem of life. And that was a positive thing. And if my children went up to a tree and they picked the leaf off, and I've gone, "You just broke Aunt's finger," and I'm sure she doesn't appreciate that, because every leaf is important. And I love the lessons that we learn from some of those incredible didge makers that come before us, because they never cut down a tree to make a didge. They picked up the branch that the tree discarded. And it was that branch that was that powerful tool that brought about a way to do courtships, to communicate, and just to entertain one another. And then it was the clapsticks that was a communication tool, and the many other tools that come into. I'm just trying to think, what's the name of that stick from home? When I reached 13, I got one because I said the only way to end conflict, yeah, but it had a special name. I can't think of it now. The only way to settle conflict for a 13-year-old girl is to have a stick. Either your mum's going to put it around your backside, or you're going to hit somebody else with it. And he said that's a natural part of growing up. But, oh, nulla. So a nulla. So I was given one, not that I've got it anymore, but definitely when I was 13, I was given a nulla from my Aboriginal mother. And we always done that, walking together and in partnership. So my aunt, my dad's sister, who was my Aboriginal mother, she used to often come and pick me up, said, "Con, let's go for a walk." And it was in those walks that she shared those valuable stories with me. And she clipped me a few times as well. But so definitely I done it in partnership wholeheartedly, because I wanted to be who I am. And thank you.
So for me, I've got two main points, I guess you could say. So one is language revival. So we all know that most languages have died out and they're trying to revive it in some sort of way. And I've noticed that when I started the Darung Dalang, which I learned a lot about consonants and enunciation, and it makes me appreciate it more, given that I live in Darug now and I work there in the workplace. So it's been great. But my other goal is for the government, and I know this seems a little bit unusual, but I'm hoping in 2025 to 2030 that both Australia and Aboriginals will reconcile as one under a different flag, which is the reconciliation flag. And if anyone has seen it, you will see that it had a boomerang as the image with the Southern Cross, to amalgamate them both as more of a unity with the color scheme. So I'm hoping that will be a future.
Lucky last. So I didn't write this, but just hearing Di talk, and first of all, can I say how privileged I am to be sitting here listening to all you talk and be together and just tell your stories. This to me, what reconciliation is about. But I mean, reconciliation was a few weeks ago. I think it's kind of for us white fellas to listen and be with you, really. That's what I think it is. And so I'm not sure how we're going with that. But I mean, I just wanted to say, I don't think you were talking about walking together with white fellas. You were talking about walking with your mob, but that's how I see reconciliation should be. Yeah. Well, but in the way of listening and just being with you guys, yeah. So what I wrote is, because I think of NAIDOC is a celebration of Aboriginal culture and strength. That's what I think NAIDOC is, you know, for that whole time. And I suppose I also didn't say this, but, you know, you guys just being with you as you celebrate it and be loud and black and what's the other one? Proud. So
Proud.
there you go.
Perfect. And a perfect little segue. We've got Linda that's just walked in, but Maggie has segued perfectly into our next piece, which is based on NAIDOC, but I do need to just grab something behind me. Just can I get you to hold that?
Should I start singing?
Oh. So, welcome, Linda.
Thank you. I apologise. I have been at the hospital with clients. Then I thought going to work, so I had to pick up.
Some beautiful little people. Perfect. Well, we are just heading into, Maggie's just segued beautifully into our next segment. And so what we're looking at, I know that people online can't see it. If you've seen any of the flyers, there was a NAIDOC poster, oh, good on you, Ben, where I used the letters of NAIDOC and added some words to spark a bit of interest. I know Di was so very intrigued by the word Dalang. Kanga's mentioned it a couple of times. We do have Darug Dalang coming up as the next activity after this one. But this one was an opportunity either for people to pick a word, and I'll read the words out in a moment, but to pick a word and speak about it, or pick a word and ask me to tell you about it because I created the poster. So N, I've got native institution, nation and native title. A, Aboriginal, makes sense. Aborigines Protection Board, artifacts, assimilation and acknowledgement. I is for Indigenous, individual, identity and invasion. D is for Darug, decolonisation, discrimination, dreaming and Dalang. O is for Ochre and original inhabitants. And C is for Corroboree, country, which is capitalised, custodians, which is also capitalised, culture and colonisation. So we have an opportunity either to select a word and have a chat, or select a word and ask me about it, and I'll have a chat. The preference is that I'm not doing all the chatting. So, you know, happy to answer a couple of questions, but it'd be nice if we could share it around. I'm conscious of time and conscious that I've got a bit of another activity as well. So it won't necessarily be everybody having an opportunity. We're going to use the 6 letters. So we'll just jump in if someone wants to. You want to do N, and you're going to talk to N?
Yes.
Perfect. Tell us what word you're choosing.
So I'm going to pick native title. So the most common thing when native title, I think, came about was Adi Mabo up in the Torres Strait Islands. And I think it's been a known fact, and some people are unaware as well, that technically the Torres Strait Islands are not technically within the Commonwealth. They just fall outside of it due to the ocean boundaries. So they're a little bit different in that sense until that got changed around. And Eddie Mabo, who was a lands right activist in the Torres Strait, was fighting for this because it had very cultural significance, specifically in this island, and fought pretty hard against the Commonwealth to fight for land that was used for cultural purposes, amongst other things, and rituals and all that stuff. And eventually the Commonwealth granted Eddie Mabo, and it was celebrated every year since then, is my understanding.
Done. Thank you. And look, you've even got Maggie's sharing order with you. Perfect. All right. Do we have a volunteer for A? We've got Aboriginal. Perfect, Jess. Didn't even have to read the rest of them.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Tell us which one you would like to talk about.
I'm going to talk about acknowledgement for A. So at the moment, a theme in our organisation with New South Wales Police is we're encouraging our non-Aboriginal allies to do acknowledgements to country. And we are promoting that as a positive promotion of the service inside and out the organisation and community internally, and recognising that everyone can do it and they can put their own spin on it. So at the moment, this is something that we're sharing with everyone. We've got a simple template that they can use, ensuring that they're acknowledging the right country, they're acknowledging the ancestors, the ones that are emerging, coming through now. So there's a template that we use. However, we encourage them to use their own words. So acknowledgement for me is really important at the moment. And I just want to ensure that leading up to NAIDOC that we promote this for our allies and non-Aboriginal members and friends here today, because acknowledging country, you don't have to be Aboriginal. Anyone can do it. And I think that's just as important. So that's acknowledgement for me at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was recently in a meeting and for the acknowledgement. Oh, sorry. And it was mentioned who would like to do the acknowledgement, and there was an Indigenous person there, and she said, "Oh no." And someone said, "Oh, what about you, Maggie?" And I said, "Oh no," because I felt if there's an Indigenous person there, to me, and I mean, I absolutely I agree with what you're saying, but on the other hand, I felt like if there is an Indigenous person there, they have more weight. Their acknowledgement is, I put it above mine. So I mean, I acknowledge that is put. I acknowledge what you're saying and I agree with it. But just from my point of view, I'm just saying that I. Yes, so I'm changing, but yeah, I just want to make that point. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm just for the people online. There's mixed opinions about if you have an Aboriginal person in the room, if it should be. Some people will say to you, if you have an Aboriginal person in the room, it absolutely must be that person to acknowledge. It's a case of knowing your community, because for me, I actually think it's more important for a non-Aboriginal person to acknowledge. If you have a custodian to me, absolutely, that person should always be given the opportunity because they're on country. This is my belief and my teaching from my elders. If you have someone from country, absolutely, they should be given the right or the opportunity first. But acknowledgement is the opportunity for everybody. It's really important to understand. Some people feel an acknowledgement is saying sorry. It is not an apology. And I deliberately didn't write apology on there. Acknowledgement is not an apology. An acknowledgement is simply noting that wherever you are, concrete, grass, glass, water, whatever it might be, 65,000 years ago, before white fellas were here, we had people caring for country and they did it so beautifully. So, but getting to know your community and what they prefer is key. So, but always a great conversation. I love it. All right, we're up to I. Does anyone want to have a go with I? And that includes our people online. If Dee or Christine. Oh, she's had to leave. Okay. Oh, perfect. Do we have a volunteer for I? We've got Indigenous, individual, identity, invasion, or anything else you might think of for I. Great, Di. Thank you. You know what you're choosing?
Of course, I won't choose the word Indigenous only because personally I found conflict within the word Indigenous. So there was an opportunity where I was doing a cultural program in a secondary school where I was working, and I get a list of all the people that tick the box. And I invited all those wonderful children to come along and do the program with me. And it was a brilliant program that I called Mulgoa, to maximise the ultimate learning goals of ATSI students. And it was on Mulgoa country, which was really quite, it sung well together. And there was a few students that were on my list that when they realised what they were beginning to engage with, were highly offended, because though they ticked the box to say they were Indigenous, they were actually from the Solomon Islands. And I knew they weren't Aboriginal, but because I worked for the Department of Education, I had to be inclusive of all these students that were on the list. And the father come to the school and was really abusive to me for taking his children along to a program that was for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students. And I said, well, you get a Centrelink payment. And then I got into a lot of trouble for that. But so ever since that day, I tend to really not favour the word Indigenous, because Indigenous can be inclusive of any First people from the country that they were born on. And that's the word Indigenous. So I purposely always try to use that language, Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander students, from that day forward. And every permission note or program I put together, that was the words I use. Aboriginal and or Torres Strait Islander students are welcome to participate in my programs. And that's just my personal thing, even though it's a little bit negative. Sorry. Thank you.
And that's why I put it on there, because I feel the same. I don't use Indigenous. That's not to say that other people can't. It's my personal view. I'm not keen on First Nations. I'm proud to say I'm Aboriginal, but other people prefer First Nations. And that was part of the conversation around, again, building relationships, get to know your community and find out, because everybody prefers different terms. And so you've just done it perfectly, right? Thank you. All right, next letter is D, Darren. Decolonisation, discrimination, dreaming, delay. Any takers?
Colleen.
Well, no, I'm actually.
Yes, you do in Delang next, I know.
Oh, so I'm going to pass to Kanga to answer Delang, because Di has been stuck on the word Delang since I created this flyer. In a nutshell, what is Delang, Kanga?
Okay,
And if you're not sure, you can phone a friend who knows the answer.
I'm going to phone a friend who lives not far from me to answer that question.
Is it language?
Language or a dialect, I'm pretty sure. A
When
dialect?
you're learning direct Delang, you're learning direct language.
Yeah,
Yes.
dialect language.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And that next activity once we get through O and C. So well done. Perfect example of sharing. All right, Tucky, you're volunteering for O? Yes. Okay, we've got Oka. Ah, perfect.
And the reason why I'm going for ochre is because when I did my travels to the territory, I didn't know that there's 72 shades of ochre. No, because I went to an ochre pit and I did not know that there's 72 shades of ochre. And how you can color ochre is using flowers crushed to color it a little bit as well. And red ochre tends to be used for male ceremony, and yellow tend to be for women's, and white is quite neutral. Yeah, I know that when you do like a medicine wheel, because we do have one where you have 26 stones and you have the 3 types of ochre and the men, women's, and like ancestor in the center. So the white is symbolizing the ancestors, because then you've got male, female, and spirit of the ancestors in the center of that. So that's why I wanted to talk and share about ochre. Thank you.
Perfect. And C, oh, we've got Linda. Oh, you want to take on C? We've got corroboree, country, custodians, culture, colonisation, or any other word you can think of, Linda. Let's start with C to round out our angle.
I'm going to choose 2 words: country and culture. So Australia is a country, but people within Australia do not recognise the countries within Australia. They tend to think that there is New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory, Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, and Tasmania, and the ACT. And that's all there is. But they need to revisit their schooling and find out what really is country within Australia. And then once they do that, they will then learn what culture is for the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, because to belong to country, you have to have culture. We have culture. We teach our little ones culture. We teach our elders that have just found out that they are Aboriginal, their culture as well. And I liked the acknowledgement, and I don't think Jamali will, but Jade, one of my granddaughters, she does acknowledgement of country at school. Would you like to say what your acknowledgement of country is at school? Don't talk.
We can teach about the elders.
Come on. You want to say some more? Or are you shy? You gone shy? That's not like you. But that is teaching culture as well, teaching our little ones. So thank you.
So hopefully you're hearing everything, Christine, and loving what you're hearing and seeing. and
Yes,
feel.
I am.
Hopefully you're getting the feels through the camera and through the microphone, even though you're not
I
hearing.
am, and I also get the feel when my son goes to daycare 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I get the feel from he goes to Aboriginal daycare, and like I said, they teach Wiradjuri language, but when they come to pick him up and drop him off, you can feel how they're feeling, and they're so lovely.
Perfect. I'm going to hand the microphone to my lovely assistant again. All right, I am going to move the chair. I'm going to hold the microphone. Hopefully, as my assistant holds the microphone, you'll be able to hear me, Christine. So we are now partaking in Darug Dalang. Some really simple words, an opportunity to realise that actually corroboree is a Darug word. You may not realise. Corroboree, a nice one that we're all quite used to, so we shouldn't find it difficult to say. So I'm going to say it, you're going to repeat it so that we can work out what the word is. So corroboree, your turn.
Corroboree.
Do we know what
Corroboree.
it is?
Gathering.
Yeah, so it's dance, it's gathering, it's celebration, it's coming together. So corroboree. Oh, now I've got this.
Are you going to do a little performance and show us?
Oh. Thank you, Christine. You can just mute yourself now.
Sing the language. I know how to sing in language. I can sing in Torres Strait language and some Aboriginal language.
Oh, I'm not that talented, so I can read you the next word though. Warramie. Oh, so we've got lots of people who know Warramie. Do you know what Warramie means? What does it mean? Yes, welcome or hello, because we didn't have words that were a direct translation into English. So we use it as a greeting, welcome or hello, that's right. So Warramie, really
Or
important.
Yama means hello as well.
So depending on where you are, that's right. And sometimes there will be a couple of words that might mean the same thing because like in lots of European languages, it depends on the context and where it's placed in the sentence. But for Warramie, it's really important. We often get it confused with Warramai, which is a group of people, it's a nation. It's not Warramai, it's Warramie. So yes, there is an I and we tend to think it's Warramai, but in Darug for hello, Warramie. So think about me.
Mitiga.
So someone's been learning. So Mitiga.
Right.
Mitiga. Now, so there is a belief. So this is the way it's been spelt for a long time. And if you know the organisation Muru Mitiga, you'll know that it's spelt with T's. In the revitalisation that's occurring in Darug language at the moment, there is a belief or an understanding that we actually don't have T in our language. It would have been D. A little bit like, for me, I will always spell Darug D-A-R-U-G. I don't spell it with an H. That's not to say that the H is wrong, but I've grown up knowing that I'm D-A-R-U-G, and so I struggle with changing it now. And I also struggle with, how do we know that's how it was spelt when we are not a culture that wrote things down? So somebody who's decided it's DH had to be a white fella or a non-black fella. So when we argue about spelling, I say it always comes down to the person who was listening and recorded it, which is why Darug has probably about 7 known spellings, probably 3 really common spellings. Who's to say which one is correct? So that's right, D-H-A-R-R-U-K. So K and G seem to be interchangeable. T and D were the same, because again, it came down to who was saying it. It also came down to the dialect of the person who was speaking it. So, oh, sorry, yes, thank you. Sorry for reminding me. So Mitigar.
Friend.
Yes. The upcoming Blacktown NAIDOC event. Someone had the pleasure of naming it Warramie Mitigar. When you attend, if you attend, you'll know what it means. Okay, so this one's interesting because N and G is in sing, it's that so it's a little bit tricky. So yeah, neura. It's so it's the N sound, but you've got to try and get the and it's a little bit tricky. So neura. Anyone know what it is? Neura. Yeah. So oh, my sign's gone a bit skewy. Neura is country, land. Knowing that country with a capital C actually takes in waterways, sky, and actual land, you know, for us country, which is why we capitalise it. Really important. Okay, really controversial one. Ugh. Okay. Yes, well, but it's, well, that's right, because it's all the one word. So it's an I. So Eura or Eora, because depending on who said it, depending on who recorded it, they are all versions of the same word. For the benefit of my non-Darug friends, I am going to get political and tell you that is not a nation, and that is why it is not capitalised. The word is Eura, or Eora. Well, let's pretend that one doesn't exist. Does anyone know what it means? Oh, yes. Have you done the Darug Delaney course? So when they were asked who they were and they answered Eura or Eora, they weren't saying we're Eora nation. They were saying we are people. And so Eora nation is not a thing.
That's what they said, didn't they? They said Eora, Gadigal. So they were the people of Gadigal.
Yes. Yes.
Derek?
Yes, so, yes. Because Gadigal's not a nation, that's right, it's a clan group. Yes, thank you, Maggie. So yes, Gadigal of the Darug Nation. Don't believe what you hear in Welcomes to Country at the NRL. Oh, no.
That was controversial, that, wasn't it? The NRL.
Well, just to go back to your A word, just in case anyone doesn't understand. When someone stands up and says, I am a Wiradjuri, I'm welcoming you to country. You cannot welcome when it's not your country. I cannot tell you.
Yes.
I cannot tell you what it does. And truly, anyone who is connected to their culture knows that.
And it's, sorry, can I just add
Yeah.
something to that?
So
I
like,
think it's really sad because the media just took that. There was so many reports. It was all over social media, and thousands of people were viewing the footy that night. So it's poor education. People are now confused. They don't know what it looks like. And then we start all over again, re-educating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or to confuse the
Whole-
whole world.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yes.
Rant over.
Yes.
I'm just going to add to the rant, just in case you don't realise, we do have a very prominent Aboriginal woman in Sydney at the moment telling people that if you are married to a traditional custodian, that means you can do a welcome.
No.
I'm not, unfortunately. So if anyone wants to try and get her out of office, that'll give you a clue as to who it is, then be my guest. So
Federally or state?
state. No, she's a local. Sydney. Yeah, Sydney Council.
Oh, yeah. We
So-
can't vote her out.
I know, but you know, petition and try and work out, I don't know, spread the word. So next
I'm
one.
going to say something else here. Mr. Madden that does Welcome to Country
Just so you can't see my face.
Is not even from the clan or organical.
No, he's not.
And Mr. Davis is not either. They're from the North Coast, so how dare they say that they are an elder within the community? They can still be an elder within the community, but
Not
but they do.
traditionally, they get paid to do a welcome.
Yes, Bill Madden does welcome all the time under the supervisor of the Metropolitan Land.
And says there are no traditional custodians, and that's why I can do a welcome. Anyway,
Anyway, a bit controversial.
very controversial. So, Moru. Anyone know what it is?
I think it's an animal.
Oh, it's not, but we'll go there in a second. You are close.
Ah.
So, Muru Midiga, halfway to friends.
Yeah.
I work at Wollonga Muru, which is, I've gone blank. I feel really bad now and I can't think of it. It is, and I've gone blank. It's,
Student pathway, Aboriginal
I
pathway.
think it's something about dreaming. Oh, geez, that's really bad. I digress to Buru, which is the one you would have been thinking of. Buru. I am Burrabarongal. So what is my animal? Grey kangaroo. Yes.
Oh.
No.
You should know that.
I'm still learning.
Buru, yes. This one I'm not great on. Guiyang. Guiyang. Had I had my beautiful campfire, Guiyang is fire.
Butchery.
Ah, Budgery. Budgery. Budgery.
Do it.
Do you feel budgery? I am budgery. Good. Yes. So you hear lots of people doing the basic language saying budgery. Birong. Birong. It is. Stars. So Birong stars, just in case you know, Kimberwali, many stars. Kimberwali, many stars. We're all- Yeah, oh. Bayala, Bayala, it is. Beak. And we saw the NG before, it was Nura. This is Nyara. Nyara. And it is listen. I have, oh, you know that one. I have one more, and I deliberately wore, and Christine, I know you can't see them, but I'm wearing beautiful earrings that have emu feathers. And I wanted to wear these because the Darug word for emu is actually the suburb I grew up in here in Blacktown. Does anybody know the Darug word for emu? It is Marion. So Marion.
We just did at the Aboriginal Women's Group, dream catchers with emu feathers.
Oh, beautiful. Now, obviously, for some mobs, emu is the dinner one. But for Darug people, emu, Marion. So I hope you've enjoyed Darug Dalang. Yeah. We now know what it is. No, but Jess and I were talking. There were two Marion that used to get around the suburbs of Tregear, Ropes Crossing, Dunheved, and they would regularly wander the streets and hold up the traffic. And we were just saying tonight, I really feel like council's probably moved them on. But what we do see lots of, still in Tregear, still along Ropes Crossing, still along the area where the native institution was, on the corner of Rudy Hill Road and Richmond Road, are the Burus. Lots of them. So you will see the grey kangaroos, the Buru. Yeah, lots of them still on country.
Even now, because my granddaughters used to often say when we were driving into Ropes Crossing, because that's where I work, we would often see kangaroos all the way along the
Yeah. Oh, I saw a lot of them the other day. So they are still there. They haven't moved the kangaroos as much. I think the emus must have been a bigger issue. So, but I hope you enjoyed that.
That's what I seen the other night driving home.
Yes, yeah. Yep. I've seen them on Richmond Road.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've seen them out,
Yeah.
where is it? Where Twin Creeks.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a third of them there, but this was just one here.
Ah.
So the last part of the night, I think Christine's struggling. Sorry, Jess, thank you. So the last part of the night is just an opportunity to offer a reflection on the night, a thought, feedback on the session, anything that you would like to offer before we round out the evening and say farewell. So, oh, Kanga's jumped in.
So I would like to thank Colleen for organising the corroboree tonight. And I think she did a good job, so give her a round of applause. And I'm happy that she did the Darug Dalang to further enhance that I can practice language, and hopefully it'll be useful. And I've learned some words that I haven't learned in the course, so it's been great. Yet, but it's been great and I've enjoyed it so far. So thank you, Colleen.
Diane, I also want to thank Colleen, and more importantly, I think Colleen's done an exceptional job, and I'm sorry, Chrissy, that you aren't able to see it. There is just colour everywhere, and colour in the
It's all
literacy,
good,
colour
Di.
in
I
the.
forgive you.
There's colour in the sharing of scarves, and there's colour in the food too, Chrissy. Sorry.
Oh,
And
you just had to rub it in, didn't you, Di?
so
It's
with
all right.
saying
I'll
that,
forgive you. The next time I come and see you, I'll forgive you.
we'll make sure that we try and reflect some of the colour that Colleen has brought tonight to make sure that Corroboree is a celebration of us all coming together and sharing knowledge. And again, thank you very much.
First of all, I'd like to apologise for being late, but what? Sorry?
I said, you don't forgive you.
For what I've actually seen, part of the corroboree, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Yes, I've learnt a few different words as well, but the whole night, by the sounds of it, has been a really inspirational night for people here. Now, I'm going to ask my little granddaughter if she'd like to say, did you like what you've seen here tonight?
Yes.
She actually said to me, why do you have to go to meetings at night? And I said, it's so I can learn to speak properly. Now, what do you think of this?
Think you'll come back?
Yes.
Right. And I know Jamali will. And especially if he sees all that over there.
I'm actually going to reiterate what everyone said to Colleen. Well done. Even though it took you a while to get the agenda out, and I did help you out with that a bit, so that's good. But I think we've done pretty well. The technology let us down at the start, and that's always a problem, and I'm trying to work on that.
And
But
I
I-
appreciate it.
Yeah, mostly.
Jen,
Mostly.
can you speak a bit louder?
That better?
Yes.
Oh,
Use your
good.
voice.
Yeah. But no, I think we've done pretty well regardless of how technology's been, and it is a work in progress. And over this next year, we are going to improve it even more, hopefully. But I think we've done pretty well, and enjoy the rest of your night. That's all I can say. I know I will. Especially tomorrow.
Yeah, at least tonight was a really fun night as well. And it was interesting looking at all the beautiful books that were on display. And I really liked the activity with the leaves. It gets you out of that comfort zone of writing a leaf and stuff like that. And I think it'd be nice if we got them all laminated and, and I think that'd be a really good idea. Yeah, that was good. Thanks.
Oh, thanks. Colleen, I just want to say, you have a job outside of this, and technically we're volunteers in putting these things together. So, as much as Ben's comments was around, a bit late on the agenda, I just want to say you've got a job, you've got personal things going on. So well done to put this together. I personally got so much out of it, and it's almost just what I needed. So it was really lovely to connect, and let's keep yarning leading up to NAIDOC and look after each other. And thank you again. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you I'm going to say thank you to everybody in the room and to online, because this is what's been stressing me out and why it took so long to actually finalize the agenda, because I had ideas for hands-on activities, and the stress of not knowing if I would have people in the room kept me changing the activities in case everyone was online. And how can I do this activity if I can't physically give everyone a leaf? Or how can there were a couple of other things I would have loved to have done. So I hope what I did end up sharing was positive. I hope that, you've taken something away, whether it's a little bit of education in language, a little bit of education on some controversial topics, or just the ability to fill your cup. I cannot tell you how stressful the last few weeks have been. And so, my kids saying, don't go, mum, don't go, mum. I'm here. And I did my best with what I could at this point in time. It wasn't everything that I would have loved to have delivered. But I certainly hope that I did deliver something that you can take away, whether it's a thought, a leaf, a comment. We've left comments on the flags, and Linda will give you the opportunity to do that at the end so that you don't miss. But also then something to share with those who weren't able to make it tonight, so that we can say, we've got these activities that potentially we can embed into our weekly meeting or our fortnightly meetings as an opportunity to share and to learn, and just, again, fill our cup so that we're not drained all the time. So that's my feedback, not necessarily just to myself, but to everyone for being here and thanking you. Oh, we'll go to Chrissy and then we'll go to Maggie. Oh, and Chrissy, any feedback on tonight?
Yes,
Or
first
reflections?
I would like to say, I respect you, and I think you've done an amazing job. And even though I'm not from there, but not in that Toastmasters club, but I learned some new words tonight as well.
Awesome.
And as for the leaf things like you did tonight, recently we did one with the Aboriginal women's group, but we had a canvas and everybody done a leaf, and it was put up in the mental health ward for the Indigenous patients to look at all the meanings on the leaves on the campus for mental health patients to have a look at. But I think you've done an amazing job, and you should be very proud of who you are and what you've done tonight. I think you're an amazing woman, and you should be very proud of yourself. And I'm grateful for the things that I've learned tonight from you and all the other people in the room.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Oh. Thank you. I appreciate the words. I really do, because the idea was about sharing, and so that was the whole point of it. So I'm glad you got something out of it. Maggie.
I just really want to echo what everyone has said, and I don't really want to be the last word on this. So I kind of feel like I want to leave it there.
Remember who we
Yeah, no,
started?
I talked,
Oh.
yeah. But
You are.
fantastic. Thank you so much. Very happy to be here, privileged. I loved it. Thank you. Fantastic job. Thank you.
Perfect. I think the last thing on the agenda was just programs for future programs. I don't know who's covering that, if we even want to cover that. So if someone wants to volunteer, but that'll be the end of my voice that you hear for the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. So as I said at the last meeting, sorry, Colleen, I didn't do this agenda. Colleen did. I didn't have to worry about it. The next meeting is our last meeting for the Toastmasters year. Now, it is also, we are going to make it our handover. And at the handover, we will hand over to the new executive positions. So the next agenda will be a little bit light, but if anyone has something, if you're chasing a Triple Crown and you really, really have something that you want to do before the end of the Toastmasters year in order to get that recognition, I know Ben's already done his, Tucky's done hers, I've done mine, Colleen's done hers. Kanga did not succeed. So definitely, I also will tell you that Bob would be really, really happy for me to share this. Mount Druitt Koori sold our first Speechcraft program. So a local organisation, the Aboriginal branch of that organisation where 8 Aboriginal people work, is going to pay Mount Druitt Koori to come in and do a Speechcraft program with them. So there'll be 6 sessions during the day in their organisation. And I am looking for volunteers. So Lucinda's already volunteered to help me on day 1, because when we first put the Speechcraft program together many years ago with Bob, Lucinda had worked on doing that first educational in how do I deliver an icebreaker. And then we are looking for volunteers for further educationals. Narelle, who's not with us tonight, is already put her hand up to deliver 2 educationals out of the 8. So there's 8 educationals. I'm quite happy to deliver 1 or 2, but if someone wants to deliver an educational, you will have to look at the program that we developed in 2020. Let me know so then I can start penciling people in, and then I can give you lots of prior knowledge. Now, for people that work, it will be problematic because the time frame that's scheduled, they've nominated 2 times, 12 o'clock to 1:30 or 3 o'clock or 2:30 till 4 o'clock. I'm hoping not 2:30 to 4 o'clock because it will impact on my work, and it means I'm going to lose 6 days work. So I'm hoping that it is 12 to 1:30, but we have to fit into their daily calendar. And then in September, they will come to our meeting to graduate, which of course, as the VPE coming in, Tucky, it's going to be really problematic because we normally do our humorous and table topics competition in September. So whenever if it's the first meeting in September, the graduation, then we'll have to do the competition in the second meeting or vice versa, depending. But right now it will look like it might be the first meeting in September that Mount Druitt Koori will lose, because we will have the 8 participants come here to graduate. Oh, of course. And but more importantly, Tucky, all those people will do all the activities on the agenda. So we will have a Toastmaster, a table topics master, all those activities, those 8 people will have to do within the graduation. And then in the speaking format, we'll just graduate them, giving their certificate and ask them if they enjoyed the program. So this would also be a great opportunity for our VPPR and our VPM to look at some promotional materials that we might be able to promote out there. And the other thing is, No, I'm encouraging they all have to come here face to face to graduate. No, they don't wish to do it hybrid. They want to do it face to face in their room. Yeah, I know. I was hoping, and it's an organisation that is a mainstream organisation, but the arm of their organisation sits in Kimberwali up on the second floor. So they have a wonderful room that could do hybrid. And I did say that to you, but when I spoke to them, they said no, they would prefer that they keep it a bit more intimate. Yeah. Yeah, but they also have to recognize that they're an organization and they have to maintain the confidentiality of their clients. And if their clients come in and it's hybrid, it could be a bit tricky. So they did say that they were not interested in the hybrid model. I was hoping, but they're not. So I cannot do this on my own. I will have to have, so Narelle's, they. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, well, that preferred time suits me perfectly. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, so at this stage, as I said, Lucinda has committed to supporting me on 1 or 2 days. Narelle has put a hand up to support me on 2 days, but there's 6 days. So I do need yeah, because I can't do it on my own, and it's not fair to the participants that I do it on my own either. It's better that we hear a cross section of people sharing their knowledge. Of course. Now we are being a bit tricky considering it's our first speechcraft, and we included the money so that they all can join Druitt Koori. So we're giving them 3 months free 3 months membership that they're actually paying for, which means that we will become distinguished Toastmasters for the year 2023-2024, which is a really great activity for us to have 8 new members. I can already tell you that there's 2, possibly 3 people. I didn't meet 3 people of the 8, and there is 2 people from the 6 that I met. I know they will not join us because they are petrified. Even when we were sitting there talking, Narelle and I, they wouldn't even share any information. And when we were trying to encourage them for their opinion, they just said straight away, I'm not doing any talking. Yeah, ICT. Yeah, ITC, sorry. It's ITC. Integrated. Yeah, it's an ITC. Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was ITC. Oh, sorry. Yeah, all right. I just wanted to share that the next agenda being the last one for my role, if you have something that you want to deliver, please let me know very quickly. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming to our 359th meeting today. Once again, Colleen, thank you very much for putting that through, for making this all come together. You may have been stressed, but you did a wonderful job. So next year you can do it again, hey? Yes, so thank you, Maggie, for coming along. Thank you, Christine, for coming along.
Thanks.
And I've forgotten what I was going to say. I keep telling. Yes, and Jess. And I've got Alzheimer's. I keep telling you that. So
You're still looking young.
thank you. But thank you for coming along tonight. It was wonderful what I seen of it. Thank you. Bye.
Close the meeting.
Yes, sorry. And the meeting is now closed at 8:45. All right. Thank you.
Right, we're out of here. I'm into this. I got to pack up. See you, Chrissy.
See you, Ben, and happy birthday for tomorrow. I'll ring you tomorrow.
What was that?
Oh, video chat. Yeah. I think I don't know if I'm going on Facebook, but if not, I'll ring you on the phone tomorrow.
Yep,
I'll
that's
ring you
fine.
off Tucky's Instagram tomorrow
Yep.
so James can wish you happy birthday too.
Yep, sure, no worries.
All right, love
Make
yous,
sure you do
bye.
it though. Like if you're going to do it, make sure it's in the afternoon. Because in the morning we'll be on the train all morning and
What
I won't
time?
get
Like
back to
about like
Canberra
3,
till, and then
4
I got
or
to go to
something?
work. So
So
do
about
it in
4
the
or
afternoon
5?
when I finish work. All right.
Yeah, message me on Tucky's Instagram and then I'll call you.
I'll just text your phone. It'll be freaking easier.
No, but I got a new mobile number now.
But
I had to get a new mobile number because when
okay. I'll talk to you tomorrow, right?
yeah, message me on
All right.
Tucky's Instagram.
All
All
right.
right,
See you,
tell Tucky I
Chrissy.
said bye.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
Mm-mm.